Okay, so for today's solid drawing, we're going to be making cubes and rectangular prisms. One of the most accurate ways to draw these would be to use linear perspective like you see below on the right. But today we're going to look at some easier ways to create a sense of dimension. So we're going to start by drawing one side of the object. For example, here we have a square, which would be one side of a cube. Notice how the angles change and the amount of the square that we see changes depending on the angle and the placement of the cube to our viewpoint. So this is something we have to keep in mind as we are adding our dimension lines. I forgot to do it in the video, but I want to take a moment and remind you, please take and write cubes where it says drawing exercise topic and then write today's date. Okay, we're going to start by coming up with some ways to show how to draw a cube. So the first thing that I want you to start with is I want you to take and draw yourself a square roughly somewhere in the middle of your paper here. And remember, a square has two parallel vertical lines, two parallel horizontal lines. Then a little bit further back, we're going to take and draw a slightly smaller square. But we want to keep our angles the same. So you'll notice this line is parallel with this one, this top line is parallel with the top one, my left line is parallel with my left line, my right line is parallel with the right line. So then what I can do is connect my corners, my diagonals. So I would connect from the top corner, top left corner to the back left corner, middle corner top to back middle corner, bottom right corner to back right corner. Then this part is now blocked from view. So I have to erase those marks that no longer show. So here we have roughly, there's a way you can use linear perspective to make this much more precise, but for today's practice, we're just going to be trying to draw some 3D forms or 3D cubes or 3D rectangular prisms. Okay, let's try another one. So let's say now we're gonna turn our rectangle. So it looks more like a parallelogram. And we're gonna do another one about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller, but we're taking the same shape and we're moving it back. Now we're going to connect our corners. Okay, guess what? This is the top part. It's gonna block our view of everything inside of there. So we can get rid of that line. This corner connects here. Now this is now a solid side. We no longer see this side of our form. Okay, let's try another one. So we're gonna change directions here. Let's start with a rectangle down here, and let's make a smaller one a little bit further back to the left. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna connect our corners. So top right corners we connect, middle corners we connect, bottom left corners we connect. This is a solid side, we can't see inside of it. This is a solid top, we can't see inside of it, so we erase that line. I want to have you try doing some shapes that might be a little curved. So let's start with two rectangles or two squares, same size, right next to each other. Okay, one of the things that we can do for this is we can take and say, okay, we're going to curve this with an arc. And then this one's going to follow that arc shape, and this one's going to follow that arc shape. And again, it creates that 3D feel to the form. Let's try one where we have different sizes on the top and bottom. So we're going to start with an angled rectangle here, or quadrilateral, and then we're going to make a big one at the base, trying to keep those same angles. Okay, so now we need to connect our corners. This is a front bottom corner, so I'm going to connect it to the front bottom corner. This is a right bottom corner, so I'm going to connect it down here. This is our next corner, I'm going to connect. Then this is a solid side, I won't be able to see within it. This is a solid side, I won't be able to see within it. And I'm going to try flipping this now. I want to see what this would look like if I put my big shape on the top and I put my little shape on the bottom. So trying to keep them similar in angles, similar shapes. And again, I just come back and I connect the corners, and then I get rid of any lines that would be blocked by the form itself. I'm gonna have you try a really tricky one now. Okay, we're gonna have two rectangles that are at different angles, or two trapezoids here at different angles. So I'm gonna put one here, and then I'm going to have one here, okay? So with this, I'm gonna take this corner here and I'm actually going to connect it and curve it to this corner here. Okay, so the middle corner here to the middle, so the middle bottom corner here to the middle bottom corner over here. Okay, then I'm gonna take this corner here and I'm going to connect it, kind of following that same pattern there. Then this top one here, I'm going to take and connect. And what this is doing is we can take and erase our lines in there. It gives it this twisting feel, and we might even see a little bit of this twist. Let's get rid of this one here. I think we would see the twist on the bottom side here. So that's like next level. Once you get the curved forms, once you get these 3D forms, then try and see if you can do some twisting forms.